sleep too good? Are you sick and tired of waking up each and every morning only to feel well rested and ready to take on the day? Do you wish you tossed and turned a little bit more and had more difficulty staying asleep? Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Alessi, and the answer to those questions, I hope, is no. Yes, it was very facetious. And the reason why I say that is because in the 26 years I've been in the health and wellness business, sleep is the overwhelming theme that I hear going on all the time. People feel tired. People feel as though they're not rested or recuperated. I can't tell you the amount of times people say, Dr. Derek, you don't understand. I am so tired. I am so worn down. I work so hard. I'm running like a hamster on a wheel, and I can't catch my breath, so I should stop working out. No, that's not the thing. In fact, that's what you should be doing. But about resting and recovery, that's a completely different topic, and I want to talk about that right now. And as a lot of you know, I do sleep study clinics. I love talking about and studying sleep. It is fascinating. And what I could tell you from studying it for years is this. There are some universal truths. Number one, as we get older, it becomes harder and harder to get enough deep sleep. Deep sleep is where your body repairs. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Number two, when you're younger, you're able to get more deep sleep, and because of it, you're growing and your body's going to recover quicker. Number three, people have a harder time staying asleep and sometimes falling asleep as they get older, and all of that leads to problems. It could lead to joint problems. It could lead to pain. It could lead to feeling tired all the time. It could lead to a weak immune system. In fact, that's one of the bigger things that happen. Premature aging is another thing, even from the outside where you look older and on the inside where you are older. And also, too, sleep governs how good your willpower is. A lot of people don't realize that. They think willpower is something they were born with or don't have. But the answer is really it's much more than that. I want to talk about that. So I want to get into some sleep right now. And some of you are thinking, oh, no, this is going to be a really long talk. It's not about that. I want to give you a teachable lesson. In fact, I really want to share this. And once again, it's something that I usually share in person. And something like this is usually in the neighborhood of about 2 hours long. We're not going to have a 2 hour long video right now. I want to break it up into some stages, but I want to give you some bite-sized things right now to take away to really improve your sleep. Let's get into it. First, when it comes to my fascination with sleep, it all started several years ago when I was at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Under Armour had a brand new pair of pajamas, which apparently was part of their new technology or consumer electronics, and they were talking about Tom Brady's pajamas. Now, of course, being from Buffalo, I wasn't exactly a fan of Tom Brady, but it did get my attention, so I did want to see what they were talking about regarding Tom Brady's pajamas. And sure enough, the salesman showed me a pair of pajamas. In fact, it looked like a sweatsuit top and bottom. But if you look up closely, there's a pattern, and the pattern is hexagonal in shape, and in it, it was woven into the fabric a ceramic. And it was kind of weird. Now, you might be thinking, isn't ceramic hard? And the answer is typically yes, but here it was soft. It was pulverized and put into this pattern. And I asked them what that was, and they explained to me that was a ceramic design to take your body's heat, long wave and short wave, near and far infrared recuperation and treatment. Now, I knew a little bit about this from years ago in school during my physical therapy days, so I wanted to hear more about that, and they recommended that if you got more long wave infrared technology, your muscle tissue and your body would repair quicker. And although that is true, I wasn't exactly sure how the pajamas would facilitate that, but nonetheless, they got my attention enough that I bought the pair of pajamas. And even at the time, they weren't even available. I bought them and they weren't shipped to me for about 3 months. That's how new this was. And when they finally did arrive, I forgot all about them, and it showed up in a couple boxes. Looked at the price tag and couldn't believe that I paid about $165 for pajamas. Must be the best pajamas ever. And sure enough, that night I put them on and I wore them. And although I had a good night's sleep, it wasn't uncommon that I had a good night's sleep. So I thought, well, okay, fine, I just have a new pair of expensive pajamas. What I noticed, though, over the next couple of weeks is I wore it about every other night. And the nights that I was wearing it, I did feel somewhat rested, more rested in the morning than I would otherwise, but thought maybe that was just in my mind. It was a placebo effect. So that got me to starting to record and measure my sleep because I really wanted to see if that was the case or if it was just something that I'm thinking about in my mind. So I got a Fitbit and I started recording my sleep. And as luck would have it, the nights that I did wear the pajamas, I was recording more deep sleep, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8 to 30 minutes more deep sleep per night. Now, that got me down a path of recording more and more parts of my sleep with more sophisticated tools. I'll talk more about that later on. But it got me going and thinking about sleep and how the body could repair and rest and how you could feel great in the morning. Now, when it comes to sleep, there are a few things that we want to talk about. And it's the stages of sleep. In fact, a lot of people think you're just awake or you're asleep and there's different levels of sleep, but it's actually more than that. In fact, I talk about the 5 levels of sleep. And of course, by talking about the 5 levels of sleep, I show 4 levels of sleep because mathematically that just simply doesn't make sense. But what I wanted to do is break down the different levels. And stage 1 and stage 2 of sleep are considered light sleep. In fact, you could be walking around and being semi-conscious in light sleep. In fact, some people live their whole life walking around in light sleep. All joking aside, it's not uncommon though that you might be getting ready for bed, taking your socks off, and you're already in light sleep. And in the morning when you first wake up and you're trying to go about your day, you're still in light sleep until you fully do wake up. But in light sleep, your muscles do relax. When you get to stage 2 of light sleep, your body must drop 1 degree in Fahrenheit temperature in order to get to the next level of deeper sleep. Now, this is super critical and super important. If your body's not dropping 1 degree, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to stay in deep sleep. So there's a lot of things that can facilitate that 1 degree of temperature drop. You might be thinking, well, it's because of the room temperature or how much clothing you're wearing. And the answer to that is without question, yes. That's the easiest thing to be able to control. The room temperature and how much or how little clothing you're wearing going to bed, and also covering, how much covering you have on your body in bed. Yes, the type of sheets, yes, the type of fabric, the blankets, the comforter, the duvet, the pillow, all of those can make a difference regarding body temperature. Without question, the easiest thing to be able to control. But also too, and I would be remiss not to tell you, your nutrition, without question, is the biggest thing that you have to control when it comes to sleep. It changes it in so many ways, including your temperature. When you take in sugars, when you take in carbohydrates, which are single or double sugars, so when I say carb, yes, it can mean anything from bread to cereal to wraps to pizza to crackers to pretzels, but also carbs can mean simple sugars, ice cream, candy, cupcakes, corn, fruit, drinks, and of course alcohols as well. All of those will increase your insulin and your body temperature. So it makes deep sleep very difficult to get to and to sustain. And then luckily after that, if everything is going well, you're going to drop into different levels of deep sleep. Once you get into deep sleep, good things happen. Your body releases something called growth hormone from your pituitary gland. Your growth hormone, maybe you haven't heard about that for a number of years. In fact, maybe you didn't hear about that since you were growing, which may have stopped anywhere between the ages of 16 to 22. But growth hormone, even after you've stopped getting taller and bigger, helps your body repair. And as we age, our natural growth hormone decreases, which hurts our ability to get to deep sleep. So deep sleep, growth hormone is released. That's what rebuilds and repairs your body and your vessel wall and your heart. Super important. It can't get strong without it. And then there's even another level of deep sleep. It's called REM sleep. And during REM sleep, your memory consolidates. So images go from short-term to long-term memory in deep sleep, and you retain during this deep REM sleep what you're supposed to regarding your long-term memory. Once again, happens in deep sleep, happens in REM sleep. So deep sleep is good for both of those reasons, helps your body and the structure and your heart and your organs repair. And then the REM sleep, memory consolidation, both super important. Now, obviously, it's a problem if you're not getting enough deep sleep during the night, because those are huge functions. What happens is most people get more light sleep as they get older, and because of it, no matter how long they lay in a mattress, they never feel rested. Now, your body does go into sleep phases or stages. Each one of these cycles is about 90 minutes in length, and you will go from very light to deep sleep and then back out again. The key thing is to not get all the way back to being awake. Now, one of the things that happens with getting to be awake again usually is because of, well, many factors, but nutrition is the biggest of all. And if your nutrition isn't good, you're going to get all the way to the awaking stage. So we don't want that to happen. And what does happen is earlier in the night, we get more deep sleep, which is stage 4, where your muscle tissue repairs. And later in the night, we get more REM sleep, or stage 5, where your memory consolidates. It's usually divided evenly that way. Now, when it comes to sleep, what do adults want? Well, several things. Number one, we do want shorter time to fall asleep, or shorter falling asleep cycles. In fact, in measuring it and looking in different apparatus, I typically want to fall asleep in under 5 minutes. It's not uncommon for me to fall asleep in under 3 minutes, and oftentimes my devices will even tell me that I fall asleep in under 2 minutes. It's impossible for that to really happen unless you're on a sleep schedule in which you're going to bed and waking up around the same time each and every day. And the more you do it, the more your body aligns to your circadian rhythms, and the easier it is to replicate that night after night, which gives you huge advantages. You fall asleep when you're supposed to, you get restful sleep when you should, and you wake up much easier and quicker in the morning without any lag effect, and you're up to speed faster. Now, also during the night, we want fewer waking cycles. If you do have any sleep apparatus, sometimes it'll tell you how many times you wake up during the night. It's not uncommon that a client will show me their sleep cycle, and I'll see that they're awake 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 times or more during a night. Now, for me personally, I'm looking for 1 or less, 1 or fewer. Well, fewer than 1 is 0. So I'm looking for 1 or 0 when it comes to my sleep cycles in terms of how many times I'm awake during the night. If it's more than that, chances are Derek didn't eat well. We also want more deep sleep. We want more stage 3, 4 in REM sleep, so our body can repair and our memory can consolidate, so we feel refreshed in the morning. We want less light sleep. Light sleep is very restless sleep. It also has some dreams that are crazy dreams. We're going to talk about dreams a little bit later, but you have light dreams, which are nonsensical, ridiculous dreams, and then you get the deep dreams from your REM sleep, which are completely different. And lastly, when it comes to sleep, we want consistency. We want it to be as replicatable over and over again. So I wanted to start off just by building the foundation right there of what we need to look at, how it could be improved, and how it could benefit your life, your body fat, the reversal of any type of disease that you might have. Not all diseases, but many of them. Maybe it's heart disease, maybe it's diabetes, maybe it's high blood pressure. A lot of those are really regulated in your sleep, and your nutrition and your activity help facilitate that and govern it. I'm going to talk more about that later. Also, too, immune system. Something extremely important, especially right now, and I'm filming this during the COVID-19 outbreak, but at any time. I don't think we ever want a compromised immune system. I think a lot of people have never thought of it before, but they're thinking about it now. Of course, because if you have a compromised immune system, there's chances are you're going to get sick, very sick. Now, I want you to keep that in mind, not as a scare technique, but as a motivation that you need to keep your body strong. You need to keep your immune system strong. It's not about being able to bench press hundreds of pounds. It's about being strong enough to handle an attack so that you don't get very sick or worse. So you need to keep your body strong, and it's impossible to do that without replicatable, quality, consistent, deep sleep. So hopefully today this video helped you and served you. There's more to it. This is the first part of the deep sleep. I'm Dr. Derek Alessi, asking you to make the most of your life and live it fit.